Now that we're moving into spring, I've got so many more DIY projects I would like to sink my teeth into this summer. I'm renovating this old Swedish house, and this winter I made good progress on the interior, but there are so many more improvements I need to make to the outsides. Right now I'm continuing to tackle some ongoing projects in my future living room. I'm working on this huge storage unit that spans the entire wall, and I've been making these fabric-lined cabinet doors for it. I'm cutting all the pieces and gluing them together one by one, but I'm also starting my first outdoor projects. The outside of the house is honestly such a big mess, and I think I've come to a breaking point, so I'm ready to start focusing on new projects. I have this really unattractive back entrance which desperately needs a facelift. Last week I started sanding and priming the door, which had numerous layers of paint flaking off, and I took out this old lock which doesn't work anymore. So I have a small hole which I'm going to patch up before I paint it. I'm using some pieces of scrap wood and glue, close up most of the hole and then fill in the leftover gaps. The only product I have which can close these gaps currently is this outdoor seal, which can be painted over, but it's black. But hopefully it will do the job. I also closed a couple of cracks in the wood with this stuff. I picked up some paints. I actually wasn't expecting to find something, but I have two colors. I went to this shop that has lots of traditional Swedish things, which was really fun. I am currently on a little bike ride to a place I haven't been to before, and I'm literally going through the forest, which is so much fun, except that the roads are very uneven. But I'm trying to find a traditional shop that sells traditional Swedish paints, and I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to use those or not, but I want to look at some colors, have a fun day out, because the weather is really good. Oh yeah, I did forget to bring food, which is unfortunate, but I ate waffles before I came out. out this linseed oil paint. I got two colors. So instead of the white trim, I'm going to have like a light grey, beige greeny color, and the windows are going to be a green. They also had an ochre, which I really like. I don't know, if I can add a third, I would get the ochre because I really loved it. Yeah, so this whole linseed oil paint comes with a couple of other things because I need to mix it with turpentine and linseed oil, and then I need to do 3 layers. It's going to be a bit of a process because there's about 2, 3, 4 days in between each coat's drying time. I'm still waiting for those bits in my door to dry, so I'm just going to start with trim. I decided to go for the smaller pots just in case I change my mind about the colour, because it does get a little bit expensive. Each one of these are around 300 crowns. So every layer is mixed differently, which is why I'm only making a tiny bit because it's just this. I don't have enough jars. My jar is just a little bit too small for my paintbrush. So, okay. You know, it's a little bit more beige than I wanted it to be. But let's just go with it. It might look really good with a green next to it. It's weird how such a thin layer does apply so well. I've got some paint left over, so I'm going to the other side of the house. This window gets a lot more light, so it will be interesting to see what the colour looks like here. I painted this yesterday and it's not looking very good. Linseed oil paint apparently has this amazing capability to attach to any sort of paint. Except, apparently, the expensive primer I used. When I put the primer on, I didn't know yet which sort of paint I was going to use. But yeah, this isn't sticking. This is just oil dripping down the surface. So I think I'm going to get a brush and sort of brush away the oil. The other window that I painted is drying well, and I had painted that last year with just a plain white paint. But now I'm not quite sure what to do with this door, because this door has been covered with the same primer and I don't know how to paint it green. So yeah, my traditional painting experience is not off to the best start. But maybe I should wait for this to figure this one out first. Also, there's lots of tiny flies stuck in it. I think I'm deciding that I'm pretty done with this mess. I need to clean up, but where do I start? Oh dear. So the funny thing is that before winter I actually planned to take this out and build like a little workbench here, but this winter was very different and I never actually felt the need to need a roof. So I didn't end up building a workbench here, but I did buy the wood. I got this impregnated timber for a workbench and also for firewood storage. So I already have some wood, which is useful because I do want to build something here. I want to add a little table, a little bit of storage. I think that would be quite useful. So generally everything that's attached to this house, it's absolutely impossible to take it out. It's one of the issues why I can't get rid of that roof. But this, very easy to take this out. That's why I wasn't expecting this to go so fast. When I'm done demolishing and cleaning up, I want to cover this concrete mess with timber planks and create a nicer patio area. This would be the first outside area that gets some improvement, so it will be a bit of an experiment, to be honest, but then everything I do is an experiment, and I don't think it could look any worse than it does now. From what I understand, usually when you put a deck on concrete, you'd put sleepers down, like joists, and then you build the deck on top of the joists. But I don't have that clearance because this door is too close to the concrete here. So what I think I'm going to do is just use spacers and then make a floating deck on top of this. But I need to get a couple of supplies before I can do that. The most exciting hole I have in my house. I've seen quite a few animals go in and out. I've seen bees, mice, and once a garden snake who I think had a mouse inside of its stomach. It was really struggling to get inside because it was too fat. So I have these holes and I am going to obviously clad it with timber, but I think it would be good to sort of fill them in anyways. I don't really have the right sort of concrete, but I do have masonry mortar, and I think I'm just going to use that and just sort of slap it on the holes, just so that animals can't really get inside that easily anymore. Okay, I've never done anything with any sort of concrete before, so I don't know if I'm gonna need this or just mix it. Oh man, that's too much water. Okay, I think I have a consistency that's pretty decent now. I think it's still a little bit on the thin side, but I don't know if it makes that much of a difference because I'm just filling up holes. I'm not doing anything structural or anything, so as long as it dries, then that's sort of all I need. I'm still waiting for the outdoor paint to dry. It's been 3 or 4 days already. But I figured I can at least start painting the inside of the door. think this first layer of paint has been drying for something like 5 days or something ridiculous like that. But it's finally time, I think, for the second layer. And I'm so happy to notice that the real color is so different from what the first layer looked like. Obviously the first layer was mixed with linseed oil, which has a very distinct color, which is why it looked so much more yellow. And this is a much better color. So the second layer is undiluted because it's a planed surface. Had it been roughly sawn, I would have to dilute it with turpentine, but this should do it. And it kind of makes me excited to try the green door color as well. So I might have a go with that one. So this annoying thing happened. I went into town to try and buy some staples for my staple machine. I really thought that staples were standardized, but apparently they're not. So turns out I can't get the staples I need in the size that I need them, and I have to go quite far to buy them, which means that I can't finish my lovely doors, which is super annoying. Unfortunately, I don't have the time this week to go to the city and pick those up, but I can continue to fix the doors and also work on the interior a little bit more. I'm trying to get as far as I can, so let's go. When I put up this door initially, the gap was a little bit too big in between here. So I made a little sample here with slightly different measurements, and this is what I need. So now I know how to adjust this one to fit better, because it's going to have a ripple effect on the ones next to it, so that's why it needs to fit. There you go. That was quite tricky. I'm hoping this works. Otherwise I screwed up the gaps and I'll have to fill them with sawdust and glue, wait for it to harden and make new gaps. Very much hoping. well it's improved. I'm going to try and not be bothered by the 1/2 mil discrepancy between the top and bottom. I can see it. Damn! Well, I guess it's good enough. I think the lesson here is that construction grade timber, aka my framework, is not meant for precision work. Everything is a little bit off. Okay, I now have 6 doors. They all work. They do need some adjusting, but it's not too bad. It's just still not finished.